Hey everybody, this review is on Wicked for Good. So the plot of this movie is after the events of the first Wicked, Elphaba turns to evil and continues her fight for animal rights. If you remember in the first movie how the wizard was using animals for experiments and using them for magic. And she wants to prove that the Wizard of Oz is actually a bad man. And Glinda sides with the rest, tries to reason with her, but all the other citizens of Oz try to say, "Oh, get the witch. Elphaba's not a good witch, and she's gonna ruin our civilization and whatnot." So Glinda goes on a little bit of a journey to try and reason with Elphaba and try to prevent her from unleashing chaos and magic all across the land of Oz. And Elphaba uses a lot of her magic to try and take over the land of Oz and get revenge on everybody who made fun of her. So yeah, this movie was pretty good, although compared to the first one, I thought it was kind of underwhelming. Well, not underwhelming. Like I didn't think it was as strong. I guess that's the right word. It's not like Megan 2.0 where like the whole movie I was like, "Really? That's it?" Where like I didn't feel underwhelmed. It kind of felt like too little. Although maybe I was kind of spoiled with the first movie because the first movie was like some big huge kind of epic fantasy story. Well, I guess I should probably give my thoughts on the first one if you haven't seen my review of the first one. I liked it a great deal. I thought it was a really fun, great, well-made musical. It was a very interesting story about how the two witches became rivals, and also showcasing more about the land of Oz, like even before Dorothy came in, and you get to see all new characters and creatures and whatnot, kind of like Oz the Great and Powerful. This kind of tries to do that, but it more so just feels like a way to like lead into the events of Wizard of Oz, because this movie it actually takes right before the Wizard of Oz, like before Dorothy comes down and before you know like the Dorothy's house comes down and lands on the Wicked Witch of the East, which that's not, I guess that's not really a spoiler because we've all seen the Wizard of Oz. And and the drama felt either too fast or too slow or not really developed enough, because there is some definitely some good drama here. I do like how even though Alphaba's the main character, she's the Wicked Witch of the West, like you try to see her progression into a villain, like a really bad witch, and you do sympathize with her. Like you do feel really bad for her that she was ridiculed and lots of people made fun of her because of her skin color. I wonder if this play existed to be a metaphor for racism. Come on, I don't think I'm reading too deep into this. That had to be the reason behind the story. And it kind of leaves you with a weird feeling. Like you don't really know who to root for. Like, I mean, uh, I did kind of like the relationship between her and Glinda. I do like how Glinda tries to be the one to reason with Alphaba, like because she was her only friend in the first movie. Although it kind of makes it the drama a little less, you know, suspenseful, because like how it's gonna turn out, because we all know in the Wizard of Oz she's like, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Like it's like an Obi-Wan Anakin Skywalker thing where like Obi-Wan tries to reason with Anakin, but Anakin's all stubborn and then eventually becomes Darth Vader. Here, yeah, like it's basically kind of like that, and it feels a little underwhelming. Like it's not as very drama heavy or very it's not very intense and fast as you'd expect. It's sometimes it really they brush off a lot of the drama and character dynamics, and like not to say the acting is a bit, like I think when the dramatic moments are there, they're really good. I think Ariana Grande's performance especially is really good. Like you can really tell Glinda's really trying her best to support Alphaba, and she really wants her to stop all the chaos. And she says, I support you. Like, it doesn't matter if people make fun of you or not. You don't need to turn to evil. But it kind of is a weird thing because, like, everybody no one else is really likable to Elphaba. I mean, like, yeah, there's her friends. There's like a few of her classmates and such at the school, but it it leaves out a lot of the suspense. Like, I mean, you do feel bad for her, but you don't. But you're kind of like, what's the point of being, so invested in Glinda, trying to convince her to be good, because you know that Elphaba's not going to listen. She's just going to become evil. So it it's kind of a really weird one-sided kind of conflict, because you could have seen like the other side of the store of the characters. Like, you could have seen like, oh, maybe they have something to say about Elphaba turning evil. No, they just fear her. So it kind of loses a lot of the drama. It doesn't really make you feel like you're rooting for Elphaba to stay good. Like, you kind of like, you know what? Maybe being evil is the right thing for her, because yeah, Glinda's the only one who kind of sides with her, so it's kind of like a weird one-sided conflict. And I get it. I get that's the point, because they're the two main characters and they were best friends. I get it, but it just felt predictable that way. Like, it didn't really feel like there was really that much, like there wasn't really that much interesting, surprising conflict. It just, yeah, this is a weird movie to talk about. I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, the effects are actually quite good. I think they're a little bit improved from the first movie. I think like the CGI like on the flying monkeys and stuff is really really good. I think like, and all the creatures, like you see the cowardly lion if you saw in the trailer, and you see, even like the transformations of like that one guy turns into the Tin Man, and this one guy to that turns into Scarecrow. Like, the effects are really good. Like, the CGI is greatly improved, and the production design and the costume design, like, it all looks fantastic. And I like that it had a more darker tone than the first movie, to not make it such, a whimsical, not purely a whimsical, fantasy film, children's film. Like, it had definitely had a more, darker, a more dramatic, more conflict heavy film, which I did like. And not to say the first one didn't have any dark moments, it did. This one focused on it a bit more, and I think it's, when it's done well, it's done really well. But the pacing's a little uneven and all over the place, and lots of the world building isn't really established. It could have been a really good opportunity to showcase more of the Wizard of Oz world, and show, how Elphaba like grew up in this world, and her relationship to like the environment around her. But no, like, I guess because it takes place before the Wizard of Oz, they thought all that should be explored in the Wizard of Oz. So in terms of like world building and adventure compared to the first one, it felt pretty underwhelming. But the musical numbers, they're good. They're not, although I don't think they're as memorable as the first movie, but I'm sure all these songs were from the musical, so I'm sure like I can't give them flack for including this, but I'm judging this as a movie because I've never seen the musical. And like I said, the two performances, they're really good, even if their dynamic is really expected, and it doesn't really bring, any new suspense if you already know the story of the Wizard of Oz. But the two lead actresses, they're great as always, and both their singing, their acting, and even the character dynamic, which, yeah, it's expected, but they do play it off really well. And Jeff Goldblum, amazing as always. He was a great choice for the Wizard. Like, I really liked him as the Wizard in the first movie, and I think even here he did really good about the guy who's trying to reason with Elphaba, and he's trying to convince her to stay on her good side, even though he is advocating for like all this treatment of using animals as test subjects for magic. But is he the villain? Like, it's a weird film. Like, you kind of see the perspectives on the different characters, but they don't really make it clear who you should root for. So it's kind of like a weird, you don't know whose perspective it's actually from. But yeah, I don't really know what to say, but like, it is a good film. Like, I think it is enjoyable. It's just kind of underwhelming compared to the first one. Like, it's good, but some things were a little, the pacing was a little uneven. I didn't really get invested in a lot of it. I mean, the conflicts were really interesting. I did like a lot of the magic and stuff, and how Elphaba adapted using her her magic for her own gain, and I liked seeing all the drama because of that. And but it just, I don't know, it just kind of felt a little uneven. Like it kind of felt a bit underwhelming, but still satisfying at the same time. But it's a passable movie. Like the first one is definitely a lot better. I can definitely say that. But I mean, I wouldn't mind watching this again. Like if I had to watch both these movies back to back, I'd say, you know what? There was a satisfying conclusion. Like I think like the third act of the movie is actually quite good, even if it does feel a little, it doesn't feel as grand as it could have been. But for what it is, it's a good film. Like even if it's a bit underwhelming and you don't really know who to side with, and so the story and conflict's a little whatever, it's a good effort. It's a really good effort in terms of the production design, costumes, acting, some pretty good musical numbers, and it is a it is good to like tie the knots of the story for the first movie. So I'll give it credit for at least trying. So Wicked for Good, yeah, it's not one of my favorites of the year, but mind you, the first one wasn't even in my top 10 last year either. So, but I don't regret watching it at all. I thought it was good. It was just a bit inferior, but it's still worth watching. All right, the trailers I got. Ella McKay could be cute. I don't know. I probably won't see it in theaters, but maybe on streaming it'll be okay. I know James L. Brooks, I think, is doing this one. The guy who did Jerry Maguire, or who wrote Jerry Maguire, that is. I know he also worked on The Simpsons, which makes sense. Albert Brooks is apparently in this movie, and he was in The Simpsons movie, so it might be cute. I don't know if I'll see it, but who knows. I got Project Hail Mary, which is that space one with Ryan Gosling. I'm pretty interested in this one. Like, I think the fact Phil Lord and Chris Miller are doing it does make me interested. So I'm pretty sure this will be a cool one to see on the big screen. So I have hope for it. The SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants. It's SpongeBob. Obviously, I'm excited for this movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and quite funny. Although it is coming out the same day as Avatar: Fire and Ash. Oof, that's going to be tough for the box office. Is Paramount intentionally trying to sabotage their own animation studio? But even though I am definitely more excited for Fire and Ash, I'm still excited for this. I think it'll be a funny movie because it's SpongeBob, so I'm sure it'll give me a lot of good laughs. So Yumi and Tuscany, which is this rom com with Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry, Halle Bailey, the girl from the Little Mermaid remake. I'm not super interested in this one. It's a rom com. I'm not really a rom com person, but I mean, it looks innocent enough for what it is, but it's probably not something I'm ever going to check out. But maybe I will, but probably not. And I got the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, this I'm excited for. Honestly, aside from Dune Part 3 and the Angry Birds movie 3, this is probably my most anticipated movie next year. I think this movie is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool seeing, all the galaxy and space and Mario in a totally different. I mean, the first one, I think we got enough of Mario in the, world of like the pipes and the all that kind of stuff, but and the Mushroom Kingdom. But here we're going further into the galaxy, and it looks really cool. And Bowser Jr. is going to be in it, which is going to be really cool. And Rosalina is going to be in the movie, and Brie Larson's going to voice her, even though she didn't talk in the trailer. But I think that's a good choice because Brie Larson is a big Nintendo fan, so she definitely feels like she'll put a lot of good effort into her voice acting, and it feels like a role she could be suited for. So hopefully that'll be great. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for Mario. I love the first movie, so I'm sure this will be a really fun film too. So yeah, Wicked for Good. It's not as strong as the first one. Some of the pacing's a little uneven, and the character arcs are a little like you don't really know who to root for. They kind of make it a little questionable, but it's a fun film for what it is. Like, I definitely don't regret seeing it. And I saw both Wicked movies opening night, so I guess I might as well stay consistent. And I definitely don't regret seeing it. It was a good, fun experience just to finish off the story. So I thought it was good enough for what it was. So take care, everybody.